I want to spend more time with family and loved ones, but I also want to advance my career. It wouldn't hurt to have more time to myself either. I might even pick up a hobby. Finding time for one thing means taking it away from something else, so I'm often going back and forth, trying to squeeze out more time. But that never works, and there's never enough time, so it feels like I'm failing on all fronts. I think this happens because I can't make up my mind about what's most important to me. It all seems important, and I think that's the problem I need to solve. I'm Daniel Lamb, and this is Inner Monkey. I try and chip away at the various goals I have, but there are just too many to keep track of. And because of this, I find it hard to pick out the important stuff I should focus on. Instead, I'm often trying to multitask and do as many as I can, but this causes me to spread myself so thin that I can't really devote the time or effort they require. What ends up happening is I just do everything really poorly. Sometimes I'll make little progress on it, and other times they'll accidentally conflict with each other, and my effort basically cancels itself out. It's really discouraging to spend all that effort and feel like I'm going nowhere. Whenever I think of something I want to do, my inner monkey makes a mental note and throws it on top of my mental pile of things to do. It's easy to imagine that in this giant disorganized mess of notes, it's really hard to find something specific. Important things get buried, old things get lost. Searching for anything in this pile is a nightmare. So when my inner monkey looks for his next goal, instead of digging around for what's most important, he prefers to pick something recent off the top. And because what's on top changes day after day, conflicts can't help but emerge. What I need to do is make it easier for my inner monkey to pick the goals that are important to me. And the best way to do this is by organizing the mess he's made. When I clean out my closet, the first thing I do is throw out all the old junk. I'm often surprised by how much stuff can be tossed, and this purging makes me feel fresh and renewed. I can do the same with the mess of to-dos. Anything that's old or no longer relevant should be thrown out. So can any goals that obviously don't make sense or lack a clearly stated objective. I have to keep in mind that my inner monkey is a hoarder, and he'll try to get me to keep everything because he has trouble letting go. Ignore him and throw it away. I'm in this mess because I let him keep everything, so it needs to go. Besides, the more low-quality ones I can throw out now, the less I'll need to sort through later. A trick to doing this without too much thinking is to just write it down. Writing works because as soon as I try to write it down, I'll instantly know if it's dumb or not relevant anymore. And if I can't write it down, I'll know it isn't worth doing. Now that the trash is taken out, it's tempting to jump straight into sorting everything. But I find that if I do that, I'll get bogged down by how many things I need to compare and rank, and then I just give up because it's too much work to finish. To keep it simple, I only need to care about the 10 most important goals to me. I don't have time to work on everything anyway, so I don't need to waste time organizing the stuff I might not even get around to. I just need my top 10. Things like working on this podcast or writing that book I've been thinking about for years. Once I've got it, there's one last step. I'll want to rank them by how easy they are to accomplish. The easier it is to achieve, the higher on my list it should go. Why? Because the faster I can check something off my list, the faster my inner monkey can feel good about the whole process. And this creates a virtuous cycle that will encourage him to keep working towards the next one. Plus, it just feels nice to check stuff off a list. If I need to make any personal adjustments, this is the time. Just try to keep it to a minimum. No more than 1 or 2 changes, and no digging through the trash for more options. My inner monkey will want to get those back, but they didn't make the cut for a reason. And I need to remember that. Now that I have everything sorted, the next time my inner monkey goes to reach for a goal, he'll reach for the ones I want, and in an order that's meaningful to me. And if a conflict arises, it'll be clear which ones I should prioritize. If working on this podcast is the most important thing to me, I need to protect the time I've set aside to work on it. If it's not enough, anything that's ranked lower can and should be sacrificed to make room for it. Period. My time and energy is a zero-sum game in the sense that I only have so much of it, and it has to be divided amongst everything I want to do. I can't magic up more. But if I get better at prioritizing where I should focus the limited resources I have, I can get more done, and it can almost feel like magic. And this will be a big step towards living the life I want to live. Hey, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to the show. It makes me really happy that you've chosen to listen this far. If you enjoy the show and think someone you know might relate to it too, please think about sharing it with them. I know how much it sucks to feel like I'm all alone because people don't often talk about this stuff. I hope that sharing the stories of my less than proud moments in life and my embarrassing internal monologues help you feel less alone. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.